Carnival crew, this is Captain Keyler reporting for duty. Tobago's utilities called, and I ready to sail through the night with mass and style. Got her wrong. Let me tell you a story. One older than the waves that lash against the shores of our sweet islands. One older than that machine in Tiantec Tongue Power Station. I promise you, it not gonna dry like Wassa Hillsborough Dam, no long like TSTT French Fort Communication, but rather is a tale spun from salt and sweat, from rum and revelry, from the pride of men that danced with the sea and them that has danced on the land. It's them same men whose response time is second to none. When current gone, your data done, and the water in the pipe brung. Who I could call? Who I could call for up and a down, up and a down, up and a down? I say, who I could call for up and a down, up and a down, up and a down? I want. Them is real sailor men. But it's not a call for a bare bounce, you know. But instead, through rain, sun, and every single storm, we money and rain.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. As you are aware, we are in the Carnival season here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we recently concluded our conversation with Javon Dos Santos Carrington. He's the Calypsonian for Interdepartment 2025. And who do we have in studio next? Of course, we have to speak to the winners. Come on. We have the Personality 2025, Mrs. Keyler Whitlock St. Hillaire, who's represented Tiantec. She's in studio with us this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course, a pleasure having you here this morning. And we've seen a totally different person sitting here this morning as opposed to who we just saw on our screens this morning, ladies and gentlemen. So tell us about, your experience in the competition. Is it your first time entering a competition of this nature?
Yes, it was. It was my first time entering a competition, and it was an amazing experience. There's a lot of work and preparation that went into doing it. When we decided that we wanted to do it, we started with doing research in the library. We went to Carnival workshops. We interviewed historians and persons who are seasoned in the sailor mass. We went to Trinidad and dealt with the mass camps to talk to the wire benders to understand the process and the textures and the materials and all the work that had to go into getting the production to what it was.
And I like the fact that you went into the preparation aspect of it and the research that you did, because the theme this year was Retro 1960,
yes.
1960 rather, and we were looking for that. How do you tie your delivery into the past? And when we listened to your piece, it spoke about all of these persons,
yes,
and what they did back then,
yes,
and stuff like that. So we see where the research was put in, where it's not just about what's happening today, what's happening now. Although you brought that in it,
correct,
you also spoke about what happened then. In terms of balancing, having to ensure you have all of this ready, because remember, this is your first time in this competition, eh? Mm-hmm. How did it click to you to think, you know what, let me do some research, let me interview this person, let me do this, let me not just write something and end up on a stage, because sometimes that can happen. What was the idea behind, let me make sure I have all my ducks in a row so I can get on the stage and win this thing?
Well, I didn't want to just skim the surface. I didn't want to do, based on looking at the competition over the years, I saw what the nature of the competition is. I saw what is the social expectancy of the competition as well, especially in terms of what the talent piece is supposed to do. And I didn't just want to skim the surface. I wanted to go deeper, because I understand that there's still room for great storytelling and performance arts. I understand that double entendres and wit and high energy performance and making it fun is what people want, but I really wanted it to be meaningful, to be able to be streamed over many more platforms and to reach a wider audience. So
and how did you come about choosing the sailor?
Well, it first started with the love that I had for a song that I heard, as I told them in my initial interview. And then as the concept grew, I wanted to marry and juxtapose the discipline, the resilience, the authority of the sailor, and marry it to today's men and women being the utilities that I represented. And I think that doing the research like this, the fancy sailor, is something that kind of resonated with me.
Yes,
And, you
the
know,
fancy part, especially if you know Keyler at all.
Yes.
Keyler is Miss Fancy, you know, she'll always keep it together. And I like the fact that your delivery wasn't smutty.
Yes.
It wasn't, as you rightfully said, the social expectation, which we had to kind of revisit. Yeah, I'm just putting that out there. And it was well put together. You delivered on the topic you wanted to speak about, and you maintained, although you put in the cultural part of it, you still maintain that level of, listen, I'm really talking about something you all want to hear about, you know?
Yes. So, Mrs. Scintilla, I know that you come from a family of performers. Just speak to us about how that impacted you and prepared you for your performance.
Well, initially, I know everybody was expecting me to sing because the performers in my family are singers.
I was definitely expecting it.
Yes, but I am more of a talker. Storytelling has been my thing since I was in primary school, and I think it is easier for you to hold a note in speech than to hold it in a song. That's the first thing. And also because of my kids, and my husband, my family at large, I wanted whatever it is I did, not just because I was comfortable in it. I wanted at the end of the day, not to create that cringe factor, as my eldest daughter says. I wanted, when we look back at this 10 years later, that my daughters don't say, that's what mommy to say, or that's what mommy to do. You understand? So I really just did what I was comfortable with. This is my forte, which is speaking. For me to get ready to do that piece, it took a lot out of me, because if you know me as a person, while I might appear fancy, I don't emote much.
Right.
So I had to go into a alter ego. We called her Deborah, because you would never see me in my natural state acting that way, or even emoting that much, or even being that animated. So it was for me to get out of my own head and get into our alter ego to be able to give you all what I gave you all on Thursday night.
And you know, Dos Santos also spoke about the fact that when he was finished on stage, he wanted to ensure he could still relate to his clients, his colleagues, and you're talking about your family, ensuring that they remain proud of you.
Correct.
And you also spoke about storytelling is your thing. What do you think is next? I mean, a platform was created here now, and now, of course, we live in Tobago. We're 60,000 of us, and there's always, so when something happens, people looking to see what is next. So where do you go from here in terms of expressing yourself through stories?
What I want to see happen is, because I've noticed over the years of the competition that I've never seen anything really happen. You win, and then the next year you go up on stage, and then you give up your crown. So I want to make the year a meaningful one. I want to hope that the powers that be would be able to work along with me. I want to go into schools and communities, have interactive sessions in schools. We can bring in veteran masqueraders, cultural historians, artisans, for persons to be able to understand the tradition and the craft that I believe is slowly diminishing in Tobago. That is my hope.
And you know, it's very meaningful because, as you rightfully said, I think of all the competitions that they have, usually when you have a reigning queen or a personality, that person does something. They become an activist for some cause. And it doesn't happen with interdepartment. So I hope Festivals Commission and Division of Tourism, you all are hearing, and you're going to piggyback on this. And this is an awesome opportunity, and I really do hope that they take on this opportunity to really go into communities, into schools, and to preserve this and archive this, so that the person who is coming to sing in 2060, they could pull from your material the same way you pull from others, the same way you went to research. They can research your piece and pull parts from it. So I think this is something that we really can invest in and ensure that we kind of preserve the culture, because, as you rightfully said, I feel as if some elements of our culture are not being emphasized as they should, and we're slowly losing that part of it. So I really want us to preserve that. Akinlabi?
Yes, I agree with you as well. There's one last question I wanted to ask you, Mrs. Scintilla. You mentioned your children, and they don't want you to do anything cringe or anything like that. What has been the feedback from them after the performance, after the victory?
Well, even during the performance, I have a 17-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And I did not know until the morning after that my 10-year-old, was on the live, and she was commenting on the live and telling people my mommy's in the show, and certain things that I was saying, she was saying yes with the S's going down. So they were proud. They were really pleased that I won, during the whole process. It was like, Mommy, I hope you win. I hope you win. So they were one of my greatest motivations to ensure that, I leave a legacy for them. And it's something that person should understand. Understand why you're doing something, how you're doing it, and ensure that the legacy that you leave is something that your persons after you, whether it be your children, whoever it is that you're doing it for, that they have something that they could be proud of and look up to.
You heard it today from Keyler Whitlock, Hillaire, that your legacy is something that the persons behind you can be proud of. Your children, your grandchildren, and generations to come. Build a legacy that is worth building and holding on to. And I do hope, in all seriousness, I do hope that, the powers that be will really rally around you, Keyler. This is something I think Tobago Updates will want to follow, to see where it goes. I really want to see it established. And if I could be a part of it, hey, I'm on board. Let us get the thing going and let us ensure that Tobago, the culture of Tobago, which is so unique, although we are joined to Trinidad, our culture is so unique. Our culture is so rich. Our culture is so different. Come on. We could do this. We could do this once we come together. And, we always invite our viewers to come together for any plight that we have to ensure it is done. All the best in all your future endeavors, whatever it is, whether it is on our stage, in a school, in a library, wherever you are. We wish you the very best as you continue on this journey. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the morning show. But it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, which is Good Morning Tobago. So we do hope that you could stay with us. And as you stay with us, before I say share the live, the whole studio, they forward themselves to say hi and to wave and to smile, and there's a specific person in the background. You should know the person who reads the news in 90 seconds, I'm not going to call any names, is also waving to Keyler this morning. But ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to go. Share the live, share the live, share the live.